Today in Let's Stock the Shelves for on the cheaper side of life, we're going to talk about walnuts. I seriously cannot figure out what to call this series, but you know, walnuts. We're talking walnuts. Now in this jar, which is quite a big jar actually, that's 250 grams of walnuts. That's not a lot. But it's quite expensive to buy them this way. Ask me how I know. Why? Because I didn't use all my walnuts before they kind of went rancid. Now that is one bad downside to walnuts, okay? It's if you don't use them within 3 to 6 months, they tend to go rancid. All right, especially if you're keeping them at room temperature. If you're keeping them in the freezer, they should last up to 12 months, okay? Keeping them in their shell is not going to help the situation any. They're incredibly high in oils and fatty acids, which is good for our health, not so good for the longevity of the nut. Now, this tends to go for most nuts. So they're incredibly high in oils. You know, if you're lucky enough to have a walnut tree, use half of them, get yourself some walnut oil. You know, because that stuff's expensive, and then maybe grind out what's left and use it as walnut flour. Even if you packed it in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, it's not the oxygen that makes the nuts go bad. Okay, so only get what you are likely to use in a 3 to 6 month period when it comes to things like walnuts. Okay, nutritionally, they're amazing. You can buy a 2.5 kilo bag of these at the moment for £16.49, which is pretty good going. And if you don't really care what they look like, you can get broken pieces or nibbles, like walnut niblets, right, for £5.99 a kilo. So if you're just grinding them up to put in smoothies or in cake or whatever, it doesn't matter. If you're wanting bits of walnut to go on the top of things so you look fancy, then expect to pay more. Because I don't know about you, but I've cracked a few nuts over the years, and trying to get a decent half is absolutely almost nigh on impossible. If you're able to get a half out, good for you. You know, good for you. But there's a reason they're expensive, okay? Because it takes about 10 to get one. So it is what it is. But if you're wanting to have some walnut or having some nuts in your pantry, these are probably a really good one to have. They are on the cheaper side of the nuts. And, you know, they pretty much go with everything, including the rotting pads of bananas in your fridge. I know they're there. I know you've got one. I got 2. Tony keeps bringing them home going, oh, look what I found in the reduced section. We never get to use them. And then I have to make banana bread. You know, I don't like bananas. So, entirely up to you. But nuts, walnuts are a really good one to have. Great nutritional value, as you can see up here. And if you do happen to be able to be lucky enough to get them in their shell, if you crack the top only and have a little hole, and, you know, you could grow yourself your own walnut tree. Not out of this lot. This lot are cactus. You need the ones in the shell for that. So, okay, that's me done for today. I'm going to go and lie down, put my feet up and feel sorry for myself. I don't feel very well. I'm going to go and get some walnuts. I'm going to suck on a nut.